Now, is it better these days to invest in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or in crowdfunding startups? That's what many investors want to know. Earlier this week, an event looked at the pros and cons of each. Shahzad Behati is a Dubai-based entrepreneur, and I asked him earlier if he thought crowdfunding had reached its full potential yet here in the UAE.
No, not at all. I think crowdfunding has a long way to go in terms of working and educating the market. There's a lot more investors who are now knowledgeable about this as an alternative form of investment, and also helping startups and entrepreneurs realize that this is an option for them to use to fund their businesses.
Now, do you think that crowdfunding and cryptocurrencies are here for the long term?
I do. I mean, Dubai has been very forward-thinking and very proactive in the regulations for crowdfunding and cryptocurrency, as well as we're seeing a lot of the government involvement and initiatives coming into place. So definitely I can see them both being here, and I think Dubai is one of the best places for them to evolve and grow for the region at a whole.
So what's the likelihood that investors will be using their money on cryptocurrencies, let's say, instead of crowdfunding, where they might have put their money before?
It really depends on the type of investor. You've got institutional investors who will invest into more mature startups who are at a level of global scaling, and who will invest into different types of cryptocurrencies. Then you have younger investors, a lot of millennials at the moment, who are looking at investing into alternative methods, because simply they cannot invest into shares, stock market or real estate because they don't have the knowledge or the access to this. So it really depends on the type of investor and what they're actually looking for. In crowdfunding, you're investing into a business, you're receiving either shares, or there are other types of crowdfunding, but in this case we're discussing equity crowdfunding. Here you're investing into a business in return for shares. Whereas with cryptocurrency, you're investing into something which is still relatively new. There is debatable track record, and it's depending on a complete market, whereas crowdfunding is on a specific business.
What lessons have you learned from being an entrepreneur in this region?
But definitely it's important to have a strong team behind you, have the right partners who believe in your vision, who can take that along with you. One of the important things, I think, is also to understand the importance of copywriting and trademarking, which is very much misunderstood in the region, especially with startup entrepreneurs.
What about your view on the business conditions and landscape heading forward in 2018?
Well, definitely last year was an interesting year. A lot of the startups were very pessimistic and very worried, which led them not to make many big decisions at the end of last year. What we found at the beginning, the general consensus is that many industries are quite active and quite busy, and this is quite positive for the startup ecosystem.